Hi guys, welcome to Discover Knowledge. In today's video, we will cover a series of controversy between Palestine and Israel. As we know, these two countries quarrel with each other from the start of 20th century due to their religious ideologies and geographical controversies. We will start our conversation from the birth of Israel and the causes and propaganda behind it. Our story starts thousands of years ago, from the birth of Jesus Christ. It was thought that Jesus was born in Jewish family, and there were some Jews wanted to crucify him. So when crusades happened, nearly 1,000 years ago, Christians killed Jews en masse. In addition to it, there were a lot of false perceptions about Jews, like they drink blood of Christian kids. By 1800, hate for the Jews increased, and they were considered as a separate ethnicity. At that time, Jews from all over the world had a way for dealing all these issues by having a separate country for them. By that time, Jews from all over the world starts to migrate in the Middle East region, where modern Israel and Palestine lies. This particular area was under the control of Ottoman Empire, but Jews did not got relief there too, and they had to face criticism from Muslims too. But by 1914, World War I started, in which the Ottoman Empire supported the Axis powers, Germany and Austro-Hungarian Empire. By 1916, United States of America also declared war on Axis powers, and Allies got a strong position due to overwhelmed industrial and technological power of the United States of America. As a result, there were mass protests from Jews for creating a separate country for them. Moreover, Arab revolutionaries were also fighting for having Holy Land Palestine under their domain. Great Britain took advantage of this situation cleverly. So on the 2nd of November 1917, British Foreign Minister Arthur Balfour written a letter to Lord Rothschild, in which he convinces the Jews to fight against the Ottoman Empire along with British and French, and in return they will get land of Palestine as a Jew country. Moreover, they also convinced Caliph Makkah to fight along Britain and France in return for the land of Palestine. In this way, English were playing a double game with Jews and Muslims. And when on October 1918, Turkey surrendered, Britain and France divided the area of Palestine between themselves. From 1918 to 1948, Palestine was remained under the control of Great Britain, but by early 30s things got changed when the Nazi Party in Germany rose to power, and Adolf Hitler became the Chancellor. And later in 1934, the Fuhrer, with his rise, tyranny on Jews increased, and in the end of 30s, Germany annexes Austria, and later Czech Republic. But German ambition did not limit to this point, and by accompanying with his allies, Germany started to invade Europe, putting the world into Second World War. By the end of 1940, two Axis powers captured majority of Europe from English channels to Scandinavia, from Mediterranean to Black Sea. During this time, Nazi government implemented final solution according to which Jews and people against Nazi ideology were to be executed, as Hitler considered Jews a main reason of Germany's humiliation and defeat. In First World War, more than 6 million Jews were executed. History called this execution as Holocaust. But as the time passes, Axis powers started to lose their power. And finally, on 8 May 1945, Germany surrendered. And finally, the war in Europe ended. But problem of Jews was not solved. Moreover, due to ruthless attitude of British during war for not letting the Jews to come into Palestine, from Nazi Germany gave rise to Israeli nationalist movement. Finally, in 1948, British rule dissolute, and matter of a Jewish state was brought into United Nations. According to United Nation agreement, Jerusalem would be under the control of United Nations, while the rest would be given to Jews. But many Arab countries opposed these terms of United Nations and declared war on Israel, because according to them, it was a way of British to prolong their colonization. In this was way more than 5 countries declared war on a very newborn state, Israel. This was a very tough challenge for Jews, as they have to live under slavery if they lose. So the Jews started to fight with all their might, as this was a last chance for them to save their country. from foreign invaders. This war proves to be very deadly. And in history, this is called First Israeli-Arab War of 1948. But at the end of the war, Jews won and existence of Israel was saved. Israel not only defended its boundary, but also captured the areas which were to be given to Palestine as a treaty. So now people of Palestine has no country. So more than 700,000 people migrate to other Arab countries, as the West Bank and Gaza were captured by Jordan and Egypt. After this, a second Israeli-Arab war broke through in 1967. This war lasts for 6 days, and Israel easily won this war. Not only Israel won it, but also captured Gaza, West Bank, and Egyptian Peninsula. Before a few years in 1964 PLO was established. It was a military organization whose motive was to take back Palestine by armed struggle. But Israel and USA declared it a terrorist organization. But in 1974 PLO was officially recognized as a representative of Palestinian General Assembly of United Nations. In 1979, a peace treaty was signed between Israel and Egypt. So Egypt became the first country to accept Israel as Jewish state. In return, Israel handed over the captured Egyptian peninsula back. After the success of this treaty, both Sadat and Begin was awarded with Nobel Prize for Peace. But some people of Egypt make this treaty very controversial, because it was beyond their integrity to accept Jew state. After a year of this treaty, Anwar al-Sadat was assassinated by a shooter. From 1967 to onward, people from various areas of Israel started to settle in West Bank, as from there, they consider it a part of Israel. Some of the people started to move due to cheap housing, while other for religious agenda. But international community considered it illegal, as it was against UN partition plan. In 1992, Israel got new Prime Minister Yitzhak Rubin. He was the one who considered PLO as a representative for Palestinian people and officially recognized it. In return, PLO also recognized Israel as a Jewish state. And here finally happens Oslo Accords of 1993. In which these two countries came together. And here in 1994, first government of Palestine was established, and it was named Palestinian National Authority. But at that time a lot of settlements had been done in West Bank region, so Palestinians were living in bits and pieces there. So a decision to divide these areas into 3 was made. Area A would be controlled by Palestinian government. In Area B, both government will control, while in Area C would be under the control of Israel. At that spot of time, both Israel and Palestine came close to each other. That both countries' leader again got Nobel Prize for Peace. But this whole situation goes downhill when some extremist Jews assassinate their prime minister, just like God's assassinated Mahatma Gandhi for his efforts for Muslim-Hindu unity. Due to these extremist Jews, conditions started to become even more worse. Just like this a few years before in Palestine. In 1987, Hamas group was formed, and their motive was to eradicate Jews like Nazis. Hamas also criticized PLO for being over-secular. Hamas not only boycotts 1996 Palestinian election, but also started suicide bombing on Israel. This increases polarization and hate of Palestinian and Israeli increases for each other. In 2002, these protests increased and land clashes provoked. More than 100 Israeli and Palestinian were killed in these fights. Conditions became so much worse that Israel had to construct a wall between Israeli and Palestinian populations, and life of the Palestinian people started to become more difficult. In 2006, elections held between PLO and Hamas. And Hamas won that election, but their difference was not much, as also described by figures. But in 2007, a civil war broke through between PLO, also called Fatah, and Hamas group, and Palestine was divided into Gaza Strip was under Hamas, while West Bank under PLO. The West Bank region is non-violent, while Gaza is a bit ruthless. And whenever we heard about missiles attack on Palestine, at that point media is pointing on Gaza. So this is a clear situation of today. As Israel has colonized West Bank, an extremist of Israel are not ready to give back the area of West Bank to Palestine, and extreme Muslims also want to eradicate Israel and Jews. But the only loss of this is loss of humanity. It's not about whether you are a Muslim or Jew. You are a human first beyond all religions and race. So the only solution between these is two states, is resolved by keeping humanity values. This is how we can train our generations for brotherhood and peace.